Edo State government, under the leadership of His Excellency Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, is blazing the trail of development.
It's my pleasure to be with you again on Edo Executive Platform. I'm not alone, Sarah is here.
Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Good morning, good to see you.
Same here.
This is the last day in the year 2022, and we are happy that we made it thus far.
Yeah, so it's a thing of joy. Imagine being able to witness the last day of the year 2022 with just less than few hours to the dawning of a new year. Good morning and wishing you happy new year in advance. Welcome to Edo Executive Platform here in EBS TV Reloaded. We'll be having a lot of package. It's going to be a bumper package today in this show. Well, we'll be going on a short break, and when we come back from the break, we'll be analyzing our news flash. Thereafter, we will be having a special guest join us in the studio this morning to illustrate some of the activities, projects of Governor Godwin Obaseki-led administration. So don't go anywhere. Just sit back and relax. We'll be right back shortly.
This is Edo Executive Platform on EBS Reloaded. As my colleague Sarah said, we'll be reviewing some of Godwin Obaseki's projects and activities for some time now, especially in the last 1 year, and it promises to be a bumper package. Very quickly, we'll be taking our news flash, as we have a lot in stock in that direction. And Sarah is here to take the first shot.
Okay, let's quickly look at some of the trending stories in the government cycle. Obaseki, India, explore investment opportunities in technical education, manpower development, technology, others. Let's quickly take a listen to the clips.
One of the areas we have found useful in working the relationships between countries is because we are a subnational. We have also seen opportunities in working with Indian subnationals. So we will be looking at seeing how we can get introductions with some states or regions, subnationals, who have their own programs, because the citizens live there, and we found that it is faster rather than waiting for the federal government of India and the federal government of Nigeria to agree in terms of some bilateral arrangement before we can move ahead. It's one of the biggest challenges we have to industrialization is that our educational system, unlike in India, at one point has not emphasized technical training enough. So we still have a very English prep school arrangement in the English system where you had prepared for grammar school and then take a degree in law, politics, economics. Whereas many of the Asian countries have emphasized more technical training at the secondary level. Edo is very unique in Nigeria. It is perhaps the best located state. So Edo is a junction state. So the implication is that there is always traffic around us. So we have markets. The second implication is that all the major national infrastructure traverse Edo State. The road networks, the electricity transmission networks, and the gas networks. So these are some of the opportunities that we're looking at. We're working on very, very aggressively. And we're hoping that we'll be able to collaborate with you, see areas of common interests and collaboration.
All right, we look forward to the dividends of such partnerships and, hoping to have more partnership that will bring about developments to our people in Edo State. Over to you, Felix, for the next story on the news flash.
All right. Edo holds carols of 9 lessons as Obaseki assures economic prosperity, improved security. Of course, you know this is the season of joy and celebration. Edo State recently had a carol of 9 lessons, and there the governor gave an assurance as regards improved security and every other thing that will make life better for the citizenry of Edo State. Let's take a listen to that clip.
We decided to have this year's service of 9 lessons in our secretariat buildings, which is under construction, for several reasons. First, to allow those of you who haven't been here to come and see the modest improvements which we have made in these government facilities since our father, the late General Samuel Ogbomudia, designed this secretariat. And it is important that we now begin to communicate and let Edo people know what we have done in the last 6 years, why we did what we did, and future we see for our people. The real transformation is not these physical buildings, it's in the training, the capacity building that we're giving those who are working for government. So we will continue to tackle security and make sure our people feel a sense of safety so that they can pursue their legitimate social and economic activities. I was in Edo North yesterday to speak with the security councils in the 7 local governments and to see what challenges they have and how we can contain the weaknesses in our northern border, because unlike what we're doing here in Edo State, unfortunately some of our neighboring states are not doing the same, and they're being used as bases from which criminal activities are now infiltrating Edo State. So as a government, we will continue to build security, because without security, nothing else can take place. We are seeing a lot of investors express interest because Edo is safe. Edo has electricity. Edo has well-trained and skilled people. They are coming to take advantage of what we're doing.
Truth be told, Felix, if for those that have not been to the secretariat, the design and everything, the secretariat was looking so beautiful, and the government taking the 9 lessons and carried to the secretariat, I think it's a very good one. It gives people the opportunity to come to the secretariat and see, what the state government is doing as regards institutional reforms,
It was actually strategic.
Yeah.
To see that at such a time like this, an event like that is taken to, the secretariat, is a way of telling people, come and see what we've been doing in government. And that was great. When I saw the decorations, I drove past the place, though I could not make it to the event. I was so happy, and I felt joyous that I'm part of this state.
And just to quickly mention, I think construction has started in Palmas. I passed there yesterday. So they've started the construction. And just to quickly chip in about security, truth be told, security has improved in Edo. This festive period with a lot happening, the security has been improved, and then with the street lighting of various parts of the state, I think that's a major boost to the security architect. So I think that is very, very commendable. And still looking at Edo's security, Governor Obaseki has acknowledged the contributions of traditional rulers, to the developments and growth of Edo State. So let's quickly take a listen to the clip where he paid a visit to the Oba of Benin.
I also want to use this opportunity to come and also express our profound appreciation and gratitude for attending our annual Alauda investment session. Your presence at that event was very, very unique and sent a very, very positive message globally about the support that the traditional institution is giving to the development efforts of our government. Security reports, even as of this morning, show that what we did last Christmas was not a fluke, where we did not report any major incidents of crime last year-end when we celebrated the year. So far, this period, we haven't witnessed, thank God, any major criminal activities in the land. Falling back on the traditional security arrangements, we'll be able to integrate elements of our traditional security apparatus with the state security apparatus. And that has led to significant success in securing many of our communities. We enacted the anti-grazing law, and this is going to be the first season where we are going to give that law effect. So as I speak, there are operations being carried out to make sure that our rural communities are safe and our people are able to go to their farms and undertake their activities peacefully.
The Oba of Benin commends Governor Obaseki for his strides in securing lives and property in the state, as he promised the support of the traditional institution in making Edo a safer place for all. Aba Ewa, who receives the governor in company of the Oginani of Uzare, Kadiri Imonihe Mogbai, for his support towards the real.
That's all we can take for our news flash today. And don't forget, this program is currently being streamed on YouTube at Edo Broadcasting Service Television. So in case you want to leave the house, you can still stay tuned by streaming live on your device by going to Edo Broadcasting Service Television, as the program is currently being streamed. All right, we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be unveiling our special guest for the day. Don't go anywhere, just sit back and relax. We'll be right back shortly.
Edo State government, under the leadership of His Excellency Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, is blazing the trail of development in line with the mega agenda. All sectors of the state's economy are being repositioned for the prosperity of Edo people, from education to health, agriculture to sport, you name it. Only one program brings you details of these developments and more, and that is Edo Executive Platform. a program designed to relate government's efforts in repositioning Edo State. So, join Felix Osagede and Sarah Igubo every Saturday at 11 a.m. with a repeat broadcast on Monday at 2 p.m. Get ready, the executive platform set to bring the mega agenda to your doorstep. It will surely blow your mind.
Welcome back to Edo Executive Platform. Joining us here live in the studio is the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Digital Media, as well as a public analyst. He's no other than Ike Osamede, popularly called Ike Osamede Media, the media guru. Good morning, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you very much, Mr. Felix, for having me once again.
Honestly, we are glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
I know you are an encyclopedia when it comes to the knowledge about the government of Edo State, and we believe that bringing you in today, you're going to tell us so much more about the activities and projects of the government of Edo State.
All right, like we said, we will be extracting some of the activities of Governor Godwin Obaseki in the year 2022. How has it been so far, considering the beginning of the year? How has it been entirely for the government?
I would say the year started well, and today being the last day of 2022, the year is coming to an end in a very productive manner in respect to governance in Edo State. You would agree with me that the year 2022 was filled with lots of political maneuverings, given the fact that next year, 2023, is a major year in the sense that it's the general elections. That's where Nigerians will be going to the polls to elect leaders across boards from the general election, from the presidency to the Senate, the House of Reps, and down to the House of Assembly. We can say that despite all of these political maneuverings, Edo State's government has placed governance in top gear, in the sense that governance has not been relegated in any way, despite the politicking that has been taking place. You would also agree with me that the office of the governor basically is actually two-pronged. There's the governance aspect and there's the politicking aspect of it. You can't divorce either of them from the other. Okay, they go together. But then it's only very few governments in Edo State, very few governors in Edo State basically in time past, and even if you want to stretch it across Nigeria, that have actually been able to place governance as a priority and not politicking. And that is what we've seen in Edo State. And also the year 2022, apart from it being a pre-election year, it has also been very productive in the state, in the sense that we've had a lot of investment programs that have been not only bettered but implemented in the state, that has given rise to even more employment, that are giving rise to better economy for the state. And one of those indices that we may want to use to determine if a state is actually growing is the GDP. And in Edo States, as we speak, Edo State is no longer a civil servant state. It is now an industrial hub. It is growing to become a commercial city. It's going to become a very, very, a city that is basically known for manufacturing. That is what is taking place because the governor has put in place a lot of those machineries in place that would ensure that production kickstarts. And then talking about the GDP that I talked about earlier, what is GDP basically? It's actually the sum total of the final goods and services that a particular country is able to produce within its borders. But then you can also stretch it and say a state can also have its own GDP because the state has its own borders. And in that manner of speaking, we can determine that Edo State has actually increased the number of services that it offers to people. It has also increased the services of goods, the manufacturing that we talked about earlier. and those have been brought about by one very key institutional reforms that the governor has put in place, which is called the economic enablers. Okay, when these economic enablers are in place, you would find investors thronging into your state to come invest, and that is what we've seen in this 2022. In this 2022, we've had the completion of the modular refinery, which is capable of producing about 16,000 barrels per day. We have two in Edo State currently, and they will soon start production as soon as the Escravos crude oil is brought into the state, and you know that is actually in the portfolio of the federal government.
Yes.
Of course.
So once that is done, Edo State will be self-sufficient when it comes to petroleum products. That is actually productivity that the governor has actually put in place. And then,
but let me quickly say this: does that mean we will determine how we sell fuel when that is in place?
yes, exactly. What the governor is trying to do in that aspect, there are a lot of things that the governor has done in terms of making the state a productive one, okay, an industrial hub and not just the civil servant state. But then, to answer your question directly, the issue is the governor wants Edo State to be self-sufficient, and the production that is going to take place in these two refineries will not be for the international market, will solely be for the local market, which is local consumption. So that is what the governor wants to do, because Edo State, as we speak, is becoming self-sufficient in a myriad of aspects. As we speak, Edo State, when it comes to the IGRO, we generate about 3.5 billion naira every month in the state. This is a far cry from what we used to have in time past, when about 500 or 800 million naira was received in the state per month. So that's one of the ways that the governor has made the state a productive one, and the Edo refinery is the second. But the third is actually power. Okay, when we talk about the state becoming productive, power is very, very important.
Very key.
Yes, and Edo State is becoming self-sufficient in that regard as well, due to the Osiomo power plant that is currently electrifying a lot of places in Edo State. As we speak, there are a lot of communities that are getting power from that Governor Obaseki's brainchild, which is Osiomo Power. For example, the Ologbo communities in Ikobawaka, they receive 24 hours power supply, and that is what happened during 2022. So it's one of those success stories. You talk about the Edo Secretariat, which you mentioned, as well as Sarah. Even the where the Caro took place, you see that those places are currently being powered by Osiomo power plant, okay, and a lot of industries too are getting their power from Osiomo power plants, 24 hours power supply, and you can only imagine what the production rates of those industries will become when they have steady power supply and they don't have to buy diesel, because as we speak, diesel across Nigeria is selling for about 800 850 liter per barrel in some places. So that would tell you that manufacturers in other states cannot even thrive.
Okay.
But Edo State, because of the Osiomo power plant, is thriving. So 2022 has been productive.
Now, still talking about Osiomo power and powering street lights and all that. Some may want to hold the argument that, why is the governor commissioning street lights? I mean, there were street lights before he came on board. So what is the fuss about? So how would you react to that?
Yes, I would say that in times past, what we had was just simply whitewashing of what they call the sepulchre. Okay, trying to whitewash the cemetery. That is what is basically was obtainable in Edo State. What that means is that various governments were simply piling huge sums of money to power few street lights. It wasn't even in different places in Edo State. I think it was only in Ring Road as at that time. Okay, and the sum that was used to power those street lights was humongous. Okay, because then those street lights were being powered by diesel.
Okay.
So you can imagine what wastage that took place in those days. And to be honest with you, those street lights in Ring Road prior to 2016 were only put on, I think, during Christmas. Okay, and it wasn't on at other times of the year. So basically it wasn't sustainable. So the governor decided that in order to make Edo State an industrial hub, because as we speak there are a lot of industries in Edo State. The Chinese are here, they are producing ceramics. We have a lot of oil companies now that are operating in Edo State, because Edo State has been found to be one of the largest reservoir of natural gas. So you can imagine the number of businesses that have opened up just because of that singular fact. So the street lights is actually also being powered by that gas. So when the governor came up with the idea that Osimo power plants should be bettered, a lot of people actually didn't think it was going to be successful. But you will remember that the governor has track record. As far back as 2014, 2015, when the Azura power plant came on board, you would remember that Governor Gordon Obaseki was the head of that process, that economic process that took place at that time. So you can say the Azura power plant was actually one of the brainchilds of Governor Gordon Obaseki. So it was only proper that when the governor said we want to power all of Edo states with our own source of power, which is gas, you would understand that he would be able to bring it to fruition. And that is what the Osimo power plant is all about. So the gas that is taken from that area in Ipobaoka is what is powering all of the government buildings in Edo State as we speak. So you go to the secretariat, you go to any government building in Edo State, you won't find generator there. You won't find people struggling to buy fuel to power government offices anymore. So that has eliminated wastage in the state. So that's the difference.
So quickly note, this program is currently being streamed live on YouTube, Edo Broadcasting Service. Just go there on YouTube, to join the conversation. I just wanted to quickly ask you this question is coming from someone, and he's saying, do you think the Edo North Airport is feasible?
Yes, it is very feasible. You see, when you have a governor like Governor Obaseki that has foresight, it is only natural for some people with myopia, short-sightedness, to say, oh, are you sure the governor will be able to bring this to fruition, to become a success story? But given the governor's track record, we know that all of these things are very, very feasible. He was able to bring about Azura power plants as far back as 2014, 2015. He sourced the funds from World Bank, and he was able to bring that project to fruition. And Osimo power plant is here. Edo refinery. Nigeria as a country has not been able to build any new refinery since the military era. So for the past 22 years or more of democracy in Nigeria, we've not been able to build any new refinery. But here is Governor Gordon Obaseki. He has been able to build 2 refineries. So the Edo North Airport would help to open up that space, to investors. You would agree with me that the Edo North areas is actually one of the largest reservoir of limestone. You want to talk about even gold. Edo has gold. So some of those investors that come to Edo North to mine these mineral resources would naturally seek to have a faster means of transport, maybe from other places in the country. So that is why the Edo North airport is actually being vetted. And as we speak, the regulatory bodies have gone to that place to check the site, and they've seen that the site is actually good. Recently they were there to check for the wind, to document how the winds actually move in Edo North, because when the plane is coming, the plane has to approach at a particular angle, and the wind has to be proper. So you don't want to site an airport in a place where airplanes will not be able to land. So the checks for that airport is actually taking place as we speak. The lands have actually been approved. We've gotten the lands, but the regulatory process is what is going on now. So once that has kick-started, then the Edo North Airport will come to fruition, just like other projects of His Excellency.
All right. There's no doubt. I know a lot is happening, because we also see one of the things that any leader should consider most important when it comes to the issue of siting project is what we call need assessment.
Exactly.
Now, you have touched on infrastructure a little bit, though we'll come back to it later. Now, let's talk about welfare. How would you rate Governor Gordon Obaseki in terms of welfare to workers of Edo State?
I would say Governor Gordon Obaseki is actually the best when it comes to public worker welfare in Edo State as we speak. Edo is paying the highest minimum wage in the entire country. So Governor Obaseki is actually the governor that is paying the public servants the highest in the entire country. So what that means is that an entry level employee in any of the Edo State government MDAs would go home with nothing less than 40,000 naira every month. That is even higher than what the federal government is paying. So that in itself is a testament that the governor actually has the interests of the Edo worker at heart. And the Edo Secretariat, because a lot of people would say, why did the governor decide to rebuild the Secretariat buildings? You know, the Secretariat buildings is divided into, I think, about 5. We have Block A, Block B, Block C,
and D.
Block D.
Okay.
And then maybe you want to include Palm House as well.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because it's part of it. So the reason why the government decided to rebuild those places is because he wants to give the Edo worker comfort when they work. Because I will tell you that prior to the emergence of Governor Gordon Obaseki as the man in the helm of affairs, a lot of people were losing interest in serving in government, being an employee of Edo State government. That was far back 2015. Okay, a lot of people didn't want to work for Edo State government anymore because they felt it was tantamount to suffering. Okay, but then when the Edo State governor came on board, he decided that okay, where these people are actually working should be of the best standard. Yes, so he gave it a massive. He made it a massive priority in his government, and right now, as we speak, if you go to any office, you would see elements of comfort. Okay, they have their desk, proper desk. Okay, they have every worker in Edo State now has their computer. Okay, as far as you're working for the government, you have a PC. Okay, so the government is actually making a digital revolution in that sector. So you want to submit files, you no longer have to leave your office. The government has an e-gov platform. So people working in Edo State governments, they feel they are working abroad. Okay, because when they get into that secretariat, the ambience alone is enough to calm their nerves, and you no longer go to offices and you see government workers being belligerent or something. Yeah. So they are now calm, okay, because the government has given them the tools to work. So that e-gov platform, they are able to submit files, they are able to get it signed through that e-gov platform, which is also the brainchild of the head of service. Okay, but the governor put all of them there, so
of course
he actually gets the credits. Okay, so those are some of those initiatives that the governor has put in place.
Let me quickly touch on this before Sarah takes it up from here. Infrastructure, let's look at it. You know, one of the ways people assess government is through the construction of roads.
Exactly.
And when you look at some places in Benin, you want to ask what is happening. How would you rate the governor's effort so far in the area of roads especially?
Yes, the governor has done a lot of roads. The governor has done a lot of link roads, that's trunk B roads, and even trunk C roads. The governor has done all of those roads, especially in places where they would serve economic benefits.
Yeah.
Yes, for example, those places where they link various farmlands to the city, the governor has made sure that those roads are tarred. For example, in Edo North, we have the Augustine Amune Road. That road, if you see that road, you would give the governor credit. That was recently completed, the Augustine Amune Road in Edo North. The governor also completed the N1 road in Edo North. And even a road that is in Oshomole's, the former governor Adams Oshomole's hometown, which is called the Anglican Road, the King Anglican Church Road. The governor has done that road in Uzari. The governor also constructed some roads in Onwa. You want to talk about the link road to Ibilu. The governor has constructed that road. Even in Edo Central, roads in Igbanke, the governor has constructed those roads. For example, the one in Ewobanusa.
Ewobanusa.
Yes. As well as the one linking, I think, that Owodwa Bridge. Okay, the governor has constructed that road. And even the Abudu Township roads. Those roads actually link a lot of markets a lot of farmlands in Edo North. So the governor has made sure he has touched those roads. And if you come back to Edo South, you talk about Textile Mill Road. That road was constructed, links a lot of those papers.
Okay,
markets.
sorry to cut you here.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about this. We just want to go on a quick break, and when we come back, the discussion continues, and we still have Honorable Ike Osamede here with us to tell us, throw more light on some of the activities of Governor Godwin Obaseki in the year 2022. We'll be right back shortly after the break.
Edo State government, under the leadership of His Excellency Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, is blazing the trail of development in line with the mega agenda. All sectors of the state's economy are being repositioned for the prosperity of Edo people, from education to health, agriculture to sport, you name it. Only one program brings you details of these developments and more, and that is Edo Executive Platform, a program designed to relate government's efforts in repositioning Edo State. So, join Felix Osagede and Sarah Igubo every Saturday at 11 a.m. with a repeat broadcast on Monday at 2 p.m. Get ready, Edo Executive Platform, set to bring the mega agenda to your doorstep. It will surely blow your mind.
Welcome back. Honorable, you were talking about some of the roads being already constructed in Edo South Senatorial District. So can you throw more light on this?
Like I said earlier, the governor is actually placing priority on those roads that will serve a lot of economic value. That is why I mentioned the GDP earlier. It has increased because a lot of people can now access their markets. Okay, they can now go to the farms easily on very smooth roads. That's because the governor has prioritized those very important roads. For example, I was talking about the textile mill road. The textile mill road actually links some parts of a Evarike market, okay, and the market in Ogida.
Even the five junction.
And even in that 5 junction, there are a lot of bulldozers that are currently there as we speak, because of the fact that the stormwater project is actually being continued in this administration. Even in Gapiona, you have a lot of stormwater projects that are taking place through the Edo Watershed Agency, okay, also called Edo New Map. So these are some of those projects, and you want to go to Ikobaoka, the governor has done the Iriri or Bazagbon roads. The governor has also constructed a lot of link roads along Saple roads, linking airport roads to Saple roads. So the governor has actually done a lot of jobs in those areas. And in Wofia Northeast, the governor has also constructed Ekosodin roads, which has opened up those areas, especially for those students, okay, because for a long time, those people were wondering if they were still parts of Edo State, but the governor has constructed those roads. And as we speak, work is even ongoing at 19th Street, which will link that Uselo Lagos Road to the roads in Siloko Road. And as the governor is doing that, he's making sure that these roads are actually powered at night, because the economy of the state is no longer restricted to say 6 p.m., 7 p.m. everybody has gone home. When the state is able to prioritize the street lights like the governor is doing, you see that the GDP would naturally increase, because people would now be able to buy and sell even more, and then the economy of the state would boom. I can even name some places in those states where buying and selling takes place throughout the night. Okay, because the governor has constructed those street lights.
Okay, let's quickly go into education. Just this year, the Edo Best 2.0 was launched, right? Yeah. So what has been happening as regards that? What is the state of our College of Education, Abudu, College of Agriculture, Agora? So yes, what's going on? Tell us what's happening.
The governor has also prioritized education, because
we are anticipating commissioning by now. So what's happening?
So the governor has completed the College of Education in Abudu.
Okay.
There are a lot of buildings that are there right now, a lot of lecture theaters, administrative blocks in College of Education Abuja right now, and very soon I believe admissions will take place and people will go there to learn in Abudu. So if you go there, you will see for yourself. So this is not something that is actually in the air.
I want to quickly ask, the College of Education in Abudu, is it a full-fledged college of education or
It's technical?
Technical, okay.
Yes, technical and vocational education. That is what is taking place.
I thought it's another satellite campus of the one in Igwe.
No. It's actually a standalone because it's focusing on vocational skills.
Okay.
And focusing on technical education.
Okay.
That's the one that is taking place in College of Education. But that's why it's called College of Education Abudu.
Okay.
Yes. The one in Igoraki is actually College of Agriculture.
Agriculture, yeah.
Yes. The governor was there, I think,
a few days ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. There you have a 250 lecture theatre, a 500 lecture theatre, and 1,000 lecture theatre right there in Igoraki. So what the governor did was, when he went to that place, I think in his first term, he realized that a lot of those buildings were in shambles. Okay, so he decided that he was going to
give it a facelift.
Even more than a facelift, because some of all those buildings were demolished. Okay, because they were actually an eyesore. So we were actually wondering why previous governments could just overlook such and abandon such an important educational institution. But the governor, if you go there right now, there are even talks that it should no longer be a college of agriculture anymore. It should even be a university of agriculture, because of the kind of facilities that the governor has put there. Yes, so in Igwaraki right now, the township people, the community leaders, they are very happy because the governor has actually brought about a new lease of life for them. So talking about the Edo basic education sector
2.0.
transformation, Edo Best 2.0 is actually an offshoot of actually the first one, which is the 1.0, where it's focused on the basic education level, which is I think the primary schools, okay, where the governor made sure that all teachers in those schools are equipped with their gadgets, tablets, so they are able to teach with uniform curriculum. Okay, so what is uniform syllabus? So what is actually being taught in the school in Oredo is the same as the one that has been taught in Baoka on that same day. So students get to write exams on the same day, okay, in their various schools. So, and there has actually been an offshoot of STEM education in those places. So even science has been brought even to that lower level, at learning on technology and engineering related activities, and even mathematics was brought even to that level. So you see the Edo pupil in primary 1 to primary 6, they are learning what's probably other people in other schools would learn from GSS1. So they are smarter invariably when you look at them, and that is why you see that when they now go for exams, they'll actually ace those exams. You know, recently Edo State was actually adjudged to be the best in WAEC.
Of course,
in 2021. So that can tell you that Edo State is actually making a lot of investments in education. Yes, so 2.0 as we speak is actually focusing on the GSS1 to SS3 level. So making sure that that same reforms that the governor was able to initiate and achieve in the lower level would be replicated, and sustained in the higher level, and that is actually yielding a lot of fruits. For example, in GSS1 to GSS3, the governor has actually recruited more teachers, okay, to teach especially those core subjects like mathematics and English and even sciences in those schools, and he actually placed a priority on those interlands, because what used to happen in time past was that teachers don't actually like going to villages.
Of course,
to
they
teach.
want to remain in the city.
They want to remain in the city to the detriment of students
in other areas.
Yes, in the interland. So the governor actually brought about a revolutionary approach through that 2.0 by bringing about recruitment of teachers from those communities themselves. Yes, so those people who are actually residents in those areas, okay, those teachers have been trained. Okay, those who were not teachers have been trained to make sure that they are able to teach those students in those interlands. So that is just one of them. And then he has actually brought about the disarticulation of those schools. For example, JSS3 is now separate from SS1 to SS3. Once a student gets to SS3, the student would decide if he or she wants to go into the university to learn other courses or to go into the vocational and technical education aspects. That's where the technical college comes in that the governor has replicated in a lot of the senatorial districts. So,
Honorable, I know you have a lot to say. I know. I'm looking forward to 2.0 now. I mean, in the new year, we're going to say more of this thing.
Yes.
Quickly, in about a minute or thereabout, the new town project. What is happening there?
Yes, as we speak, the governor has been able to dislodge non-state actors from those places.
Land grabbers.
Yes, grabbers from those places. In fact, as we speak, a lot of them are facing prosecution right now. Prosecution rather.
Yeah.
So because a lot of them grab those lands, okay, that hitherto belong to the government, okay, sold it to unsuspecting members of the public. Okay, so those persons have been made to pay to those people who were actually defrauded, because that's actually fraud, to say the least. So even those persons who were actually legitimate landowners of those places, okay, as far as they were able to show their proof of ownership, okay, their CFO and other title documents, the governor has actually initiated compensation for some of them. So that project is actually going to come to fruition very soon, because the place is actually demarcated into phase A, phase B, and even phase C. Okay, so the phase A is actually what is currently being worked on right now. So the governor is going to make sure that that new town will decongest the Benin City as we know it, and that place would be also self-sufficient. And of course, you know, there's power. There's 24 hours power supply. So when the governor strings the lights up to that point, you see that people would rush to go to that place and buy lands legitimately now, okay, from the rightful owners. And as we speak, just to chip this in, the Osiomo power plant is actually now extending towards Ovianotis, towards UBTH area. So as we speak, UBTH very soon is going to leave the national grid and it's going to become powered 24 hours by Osiomo power plant, and those areas too will be powered. In fact, people would now choose, because when there's monopoly, you would agree with me, people would not get the best of service. So Osiomo is coming to give people an option.
Just
I would say a better option.
Honorable, just a word of advice to the people that are watching you now. You know,
as we move into the new year.
Move into the new year. Just a quick short word of advice.
I would say that as we move into the new year, which is the general election year, people should go get their PVCs and vote in their choice in government that would complement the great efforts that the governor is doing. The governor is right now making sure that Edo State is self-sufficient in a lot of aspects. Okay, we don't need to depend on the IGR federal government allocation. The IGR right now is a lot. Okay, so that is one thing. So the people should be very, very should go get their PVCs. That's bottom line. Get your PVCs.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much, Honorable Ike Osamede. Honorable Ike Osamede is the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Digital Media. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, our viewers. Thank you for always tuning in, for always watching us. We are super, super grateful. With just less than 24 hours to the dawn of a new year, I pray that this new year will bring open doors, blessings, and prosperity all around. I can't wait to see you next week, Saturday, in the new year, together, stronger and better. My name is Ingubo Sarah. It's a bye for now. Happy New Year in advance.
Felix Usagide remains my name. I want to say I wish you a prosperous new year in advance. See you next year. Thank you.
This is EBS TV Reloaded.
Computer systems are offline.